There was something about Florence Henderson that struck a chord with me. She'd been ambitious, focused and driven. She'd also kept the world at arm's length, bottled her emotions, kept her struggles to herself. Maybe I recognised her as a kindred spirit, or maybe I was just looking for a fight. Either way, I called the CPS on my way into work and asked Janet to come in.
On a Thursday?
Right. We're pursuing the Florence Henderson case under Section 4A of the Protection from Harassment Act. We're going to identify every individual who made that girl's life a misery, build a case and use the full force of the law to see they don't do it to anyone else.
Good.
Janet, have you had a chance to look at the file?
Yeah, I've got the gist. Look, my advice is you wait for the trace on the IP addresses, and if any of them are even in the UK, let alone Manchester, you do them for malicious communications or Section 2 harassment. Take it to the magistrates.
That's a fine and a slap wrist. It's not enough.
What is all you've got?
We're still gathering evidence.
What, and after hundreds of hours of police work, computer forensics and court orders, do you know what you'll have? Not enough.
You don't know that.
Under Section 4A, we need to prove she felt serious alarm or distress, and unfortunately, she ain't here to tell us whether or not that were the case.
She killed herself. That shows some pretty serious distress.
Well, does it really? I mean, perhaps you could explain how you're so sure this harassment was actually the reason that she took her own life.
So, if she was still here to tell us, yes, she was distressed by the harassment, we might have had a shot at getting the 5 years, but because she's killed herself, we'll be lucky to push for a fine.
Well, in a nutshell.
That's ridiculous.
That's the law. But I've given you my professional opinion. What you do with it, it's up to you.
Thanks, Janet.
She's nice, isn't she? I like her.
She's right with Tende. We need to rule out any other reason she might have had for killing herself. Let's start with Mark. I want to know why you lied to us about being at work. Tende went back to his desk without saying anything. I could tell he was ruffled. My worry was it wasn't this case that was getting him bent out of shape.
Have you got a minute? It's about Janet. I think we should ask the CPS to send someone else over.
Janet might be brusque, but she's a good lawyer with Tende.
I'm sure she is, but she's also risk-averse.
If we give her what she needs...
We gave her what she needed on Karis Matheson, and she's querying evidence and raising doubts.
You've misunderstood. It wasn't Janet who raised the query.
Then who was it?
The charges against Stanners and Craven are under review. I'll talk to you about it when I know the outcome. For now, I just need you to concentrate on what you're doing, please. I almost considered telling him the truth there and then. Some things are just better left alone. Mark looked as well-groomed and pristine as ever. He wasn't happy about having to leave work and come to the station to answer our questions. And he was even less happy to learn we'd been through his finances.
You told my colleagues that you were at work on Saturday, but your bank statement shows you were at a pub in Salford for most of the afternoon, and before that, we've got CCTV of you buying flowers from a petrol station. Why did you lie, Mark?
I was watching from the observation room. Even on the tiny monitor, Mark's discomfort was palpable.
I went to a funeral.
Whose funeral?
I don't know, a stranger's. I can't remember the name.
Why did you go to a stranger's funeral?
My wife's family never approved of our marriage and never approved of me. They blamed me for her death. I was driving the car. It was icy and I lost control. Afterwards, her parents took over everything. Well, Florence, well, she was only young and they didn't want anything to do with her, with either of us. In the end, I decided the best thing to do would be to stay away altogether. I never went to my own wife's funeral. I've never even cried for her. Now, that's not right, is it? Well, a couple of years ago, I was passing a church. There was a funeral going on, and I went inside, and I sat at the back just to listen, just to see what it was like. Afterwards, this woman, she comes up to me and she asked me how I knew her mother. So I pretended to be some passing acquaintance. I can't remember now. I think I said I was a neighbour's son or something. She just thanked me for coming and invited me for drinks and sandwiches at the social club.
How many times have you done this? Gone to a stranger's funeral?
Whenever things get on top of me. Whenever I feel lonely. Whenever I really miss my wife.
Terry thought he was a nut job, but I felt sorry for him. Held in stasis all these years, suspended in his grief. We turned our attention back to Lance Darcy. He may not be a murderer, but he was still a slimy, nasty piece of work, and his relationship with Florence was an unknown entity. We decided to focus on her friends and see if she'd ever mentioned him. It'd also give us a good excuse to speak to Caitlin Parks again. As it was half-term, Terry and Witende went looking for her at home, 79 Collins Drive.
So we knock on the door and there's no answer. But the next door neighbour's coming out, and she says...
They'll both be at work now, won't be back till gone 6.
Hi, the girl who lives here, Caitlin, do you know where she'll be while her parents are at work?
Oh no, I meant Caitlin and her mum. They'll both be at work. Is there a problem?
Do you know your neighbours well, Ms.
Anderson, Catherine.
Catherine?
Fairly well, yeah.
Can you tell us where Caitlin works? We need to speak to her regarding one of her friends. Florence Anderson?
Oh, I heard about that. Poor Caitlin.
Poor Caitlin?
They were best friends since primary. Caitlin's devastated.
Devastator's not the word I'd have used.
Catherine Anderson told us Caitlin works at a hairdresser's down the road, so we went to talk to her there.
Did Florence ever mention a man called Lance Darcy to you?
To me? No.
Well, she never told you she was working as a makeup artist on a short film?
Why would she tell me anything?
Well, we heard you and Florence were good mates.
Yeah, were. I guess I just wasn't cool enough for her anymore. Not after she got all famous.
Caitlin, have you ever heard of a website called Virtual Snoop?
No?
It's a forum that targets people with rising internet profiles. People perceived to be getting above themselves. Were you aware that Florence was receiving abusive messages online?
No, but... shock horror.
What do you mean by that?
Just because you go around acting like a celebrity doesn't mean you are one. I'm not saying what they done was right. I'm just saying she was asking for trouble.
Caitlin was starting to look more and more suspicious, but something didn't sit right with me. She was openly disdainful towards Florence and her pseudo-celebrity status. If she'd been at the heart of a cyberbullying campaign that led to suicide, I'd have expected her to be more cautious. We interviewed Florence's friends again. Those closest to her were aware she was working on a film, but there was no mention of Lance Darcy. The more kids we interviewed, the more it looked like we didn't have anyone to charge, which we didn't. And the hashtag Justice for Florence was trending by tea time. Florence's blogging and YouTube community took the issue up with videos and articles. Online news outlets followed shortly after, with the BBC, The Guardian and The Independent all releasing comment pieces on the ineffectiveness of the police when it came to social media offences. When Truly called me into his office, I expected a rollicking. Instead...
What's going on with Caris Matheson?
It's under review.
It's a balls up. Key forensic evidence deemed inadmissible. Corrupted because of stupid mistakes by one of your officers, as I understand it.
It was one small part of the evidence.
It's blood. It's the sodding smoking gun, Sue. Hardly insignificant, is it?
It's regrettable.
I'll say. He's out on his ear. You know that, don't you? Not just out of MIT, out of CID. He'll be lucky to end up back in uniform.
Witende's one of my best officers, sir. He's trained up to his eyeballs. He's hard-working, committed.
He's a liability by the look of things.
I'll sort it. Just... let's not make hasty decisions. Let me fix things.
Fine. But do it fast. Now, fill me in on this Florence Anderson debacle.
I told Tooley it was all under control, but the truth was we were getting further and further away. The more we looked, the more we found not Florence, but Flo, a cheerful, happy, confident young woman with a burgeoning media career and the world at her feet. The mask never slipped. I sent Terry and Witende for social media training so we could try and understand how internet bullies or trolls targeted their victims. We started clutching at straws.
OK, how about this? If you look back a few months ago, she was putting personal stuff on Facebook and Twitter. She mentions doing her schoolwork, making dinner, taking a cat to the vet, whatever, right? But then, anything personal stops. In the last few months, all she's done is share virals or post links. If the internet is her primary way of socialising, it shows that she was withdrawing. She was disengaging with the community.
It's not enough.
The videos.
What about them?
Well, the problem we've got is that she's not here to tell us the effect the harassment was having on her state of mind, correct?
Correct.
But we've got almost daily videos of her talking to the camera over the whole period. Maybe Florence has left her testimony. Maybe, like her dad, we're just not seeing it.
Tom still had nice hair, and he was still interested in me. We hadn't had much time for his briefing at the station, so I agreed to meet him for a drink after work.
Hi.
I knew I was playing with fire when I turned up to see a bottle of wine and 2 glasses on the table.
Oh, sorry, one sec.
Macca. I hadn't called him for days. I felt bad about it, but now wasn't the time for a catch-up. So, Florence Henderson.
Straight to business. Okay. Well, like I said earlier, diagnosing depression isn't an exact science. I'd look for persistent low mood, lack of enjoyment in the things the patient used to find pleasure in, fatigue, weight loss, poor concentration. Well, as you can imagine, that's not the easiest thing to diagnose in a hormone-ridden teenager at the best of times. Based on a series of video tutorials, I don't really see that it can be done.
But you'll try anyway.
For you, yes.
I spent the next day in and out of meetings with the press office and the communications team. When I got back to the office, Janet was there.
Wait a minute.
Thing here.
Janet?
Right, I've just stepped in to give you these, all the rulings on online harassment case for the last 3 years.
Is that all there is?
It was all I could find.
If things actually went to court, maybe there'd be more.
Yeah, well, if you actually did your job properly, maybe we'd be able to take things to court.
Since when do I not do my job properly?
All right. That is enough.
I'm sorry, sir.
Terry, can you do me a favour and go and check on Mark Henderson? Make sure the press aren't giving him any grief.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That was unprofessional. It won't happen again.
Take a seat. You exhibits officer on Caris Matheson. You put the blood-stained glove in an airtight bag. In fact, you double-bagged it and you gave it an extra seal. It grew mould, the sample was destroyed. That's why the case is up for review.
No. I double-bagged the other glove so the accelerant wouldn't dissipate. But I put the one with the blood on it in...
And you didn't with 10-day. They were the wrong way round.
I wouldn't have made a mistake like that.
Anthony had colic, you weren't getting any sleep. Mistakes happen.
No.
They're not supposed to. There are safeguards in place, checks that are meant to stop things like this. But from time to time, something slips through. Human error. Janet's been going through the rest of the evidence, trying to keep the case in place. She's trying to save your bacon. I've never seen a man deflate the way Retendi did in that moment. He prides himself on doing things by the book, holds himself to the highest standards and expects everyone else to do the same.
I'm going to lose my job, aren't I?
We're all doing our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. I told him to take the rest of the day off and come back in the morning with his head in the game. He didn't argue.
Where's Tendy?
How's Mark?
He seemed fine considering, but you won't believe who popped round when I was there. Lance Darcy. Came round, introduced himself as a friend of Flo's, offering tea and sympathy. They were still together when I left.
Keep an eye on him. Excuse me a minute. Hi. How you feeling?
All right. I haven't heard from you for a while. I was just checking in.
Sorry, work. Things have been a bit...
Well, I was just ringing to say my things tomorrow, my appointment, 2 o'clock at the Royal. But if you can't make it...
Sue.
I'm really sorry. I gotta go.
Go.
The IP addresses are back. We've got them all over the place. America, Canada, Australia, France, Italy. 5 are in the UK, 2 are in Greater Manchester.
OK, good. Make sure you alert the appropriate authorities for the others. Talk me through ours.
One of them's in a pub called the Bull and Swan. It's got free Wi-Fi, which means basically it could be anyone.
Great.
Yeah, but look at the other one. Collins Drive. You know who lives there, don't you? At number 79.
Caitlin Parks.
We've got her.